everyone, welcome back to my class. This is Mehja bin Fatima, a teacher at Elibeth High School and Junior College. Today we are going to start our 9th chapter in social studies, that is community decision making in a tribe. Now let's begin with our lesson. How do people who live together in large numbers take decisions about their common problems? How do they settle disputes among themselves? What is the role of leaders and what do they get in return? These are some of the issues which we will study in this chapter. We will study how decisions are taken in a society of people of a same community. So, there are some peoples who are living together, or as a community they are living together in large number, and how do these people take their decisions, as the decision should be unanimous, means which is accepted by each and every member of this community. So, and how do they settle their disputes, means if anyone is having any dispute, how are they going to settle those disputes among themselves, and what is the role of the leader here, how the leader is helping out these people and how the leader is acting to solve such problems, and what do they get in return. These are the some issues which we are going to discuss in this chapter, and we will also study how decisions are taken in the society of the people of the same community, means how the decisions are made by the people who are belonging to the same community. First one we are having is tribes. Tribes is nothing but societies where all the people are equal. Different kinds of societies who generally live in forest areas are called tribes. So, they are different kind of societies or communities who are living in a forest area, and they are called as tribes. In Telangana, we have tribes such as Chenches, Kondareddis, Koyas and Savaras. So, these are the names of tribes in our state, that is Telangana. Almost all the states in our country have one tribe or the other living in the forest. They all have different ways of life, different languages, cultures, etc. So, there are different kinds of tribes in our country, and these tribes, they do have different languages, different cultures and different lifestyle, etc. Why are they called tribes? Despite these differences, it is because they share certain common characteristics. What are they? So, why are we calling them as tribes? So, despite they are having many differences, but still we are calling them as tribes. Why? Because they are having some same characteristics. Now let's see what are those characteristics. Usually all the members of a tribe consider themselves to be descendants of a common ancestor. Therefore, all members of a tribe consider themselves to be each other's relatives. So, usually all the members of the tribe, they are considering themselves as a descendant of a common ancestor. That means they are believing that they belong to the same family, and because of this reason all the members of the tribe, they consider themselves to be each other's relatives. So, they are thinking that they all belong to the same family and they are considering themselves as their relatives. Each believe that all their resources like land, forest, pastures and water are the commonwealth of the entire tribe and not of individual families or persons. Therefore, all the members of the tribe can share and these resources subject to the rules they frame together. And therefore, all the members of the tribe, they share these resources and they will use these resources with some rules which they only have framed. In tribal societies, there are no acute differences like rich and poor, as everyone has a share in the common resources of a tribe. For example, tribal land may be divided equally among all families depending upon the size of the family. In some cases, once in a few years, all land may be redistributed or redivided among the families. So, in tribal societies, there is no rich and there is no poor. They treat everyone as equally and they share the common resources. For example, the tribe land may be divided equally among the families depending upon the size of the family, and in some cases once in a few years all land may be redistributed or redivided among the families. In some tribes, all the members may till the soil together and share the produce equally. No one can sell the land given to them, as the entire tribe is considered as the owner of the land. no one can keep more land than they can use. So here all the members, they soil together, means they cultivate the land together, and whatever the produce will be, that will be also be shared by each other equally. And here no one is having the right to sell the land, as entire tribe is considered as the owner of the land here. So no one or no particular person is having a right to sell that land. Generally all the families of a tribe do all kinds of work like cultivation, gathering food from the forest, grazing animals, and making clothes, baskets, tools, etc. So here he is describing what the work they are doing. So generally all the families, they do all kind of works here, and work like cultivation, gathering food from the forest, grazing of the animals, and making clothes. These all are the works which is done by these people. Women, men, and even children share the work of the family. However, in many tribes, men have greater power and role in decision making than women. So women, men, and as well as their children all together are working for the family, and sometimes men, they are having the more power in decision making than the women. The tribes give a lot of importance in the celebration of festivals and rituals to please the tribal gods and ancestors. They also have distinct beliefs, customs, songs, dances, and arts and crafts. So these tribes, they have a lot of importance towards their religion or towards their celebration of the festival, we can say. And these rituals they will do to please the tribal gods or ancestors to whom they are believing. And they have also different beliefs, customs, songs, dances, and arts and craft. Means each tribe they are having their particular religion or particular custom, we can say. A tribe may settle in several small villages or habitations over a large area. So a tribe, they may be settled in a several small villages or habitants over a large place. How do tribes take decisions about matters of common concern? How do they settle disputes among their members? We will see how Gonds, a tribe living in Adilabad district, handles these issues. And there is a short summary given here about the description from Hemandof's book on the Gonds, which are from the Adilabad district. Now let's discuss about Gonds. Gond, Panch and Patla. The village headmen derive their authority from the village panch or the council of adult male householders. So there is a headman in the village who derive their authority from the village panch or from the council of adult male householders. This council has the last word in matters concerning in village as a whole, and the headman is its chairman. The village panch is a sense represents the Gond society as a whole. So this council, it has a last word in matters that is concerning the village as a whole. The panch does not meet regularly but only when necessary. When matters of importance are discussed, all adult men will be present and young boys and women watch the proceedings. Women have no voice in the council but can freely put their case before it. So this panch, he will not meet regularly. So whenever there will be a situation or there will be a problem, or we can say there will be a issue, this panch will be present, and there will be a council between all the community members where this panch will be going to take decision, and adult men, young boys and women will be present, but the women will have no voice in the council but they can freely put their case in front of the headman. Some of the functions of the panch are fix the dates of major festivals, allow reject marriages or divorces, set down norms for marriages or death rights, settle disputes, etc. So these are the functions of panch. The panch can impose fines and may even force a person to leave the village or even order all other Gonds not to have any relationship with him. Here the panch can also impose fines on the people, and he may also force any person to whom he is not believing is correct for the community. He can force that person to leave the community or the village, or even he can order all other Gonds to not to have any kind of relation with that particular person. Or we can also say that this panch has prohibited that person, or the Panch has the right to prohibit any person in his community. When a dispute involves people from many villages, then the councils of all the villages concerned meet is a joint panchayat. So if the dispute is there between 2 or 3 or more villages, then all the villagers or all the peoples who are from different villages where the dispute has been arise, they all will have a council together and they all will meet at that council, and that is called as the panchayat, and that is called as the joint panchayat. When a dispute is presented to the Panch, the first aim is to get the facts of the case. The two parties are allowed to make detailed presentations of their points of view. Then some elder member of the may cross question them to ascertain the actual fact. So, if any dispute will be there between the two parties, then two parties must be present along with their proofs and along with their rights. They also ask the witnesses to give their evidence. After this, the Panch discuss the provisions of the traditional customs of the Gonds and the decisions in previous cases of the similar kind. So, this is kind of a court we can say. So, here two parties will be present where the dispute has been arises. So, these parties should prove or should show their presentation or should put their facts in front of this Panch and all the council members. And here they are also cross questioned by the elder person where this person is trying to know the true fact, and these persons they also have to get their witnesses and to show their evidence, and after this the Panch will take the decisions on the basis of their customs or on the basis of the customs of Gonds we can say. Therefore, the Panch will discuss the provisions of the traditional customs of the Gonds and the decision in previous cases of such kinds. They try to arrive at the solution acceptable to both parties. When all aspects of the case have been debated, one of the senior member proposes a settlement. So, after all this discussion, they will try to arrive at a solution which is acceptable by both of these parties, and the senior member he will propose the settlement between the two parties. Since this is not the final decision, the person affected can propose some changes. After hearing his or her response, the Panch will take the final decision. So, this is not the final decision. The person affected can propose some changes also, and after hearing all such evidences or proofs, the Panch will take the final decision. Let's see the example how these Gonds will do justice. One day, a girl brought a case before the Panch against a man who teased her. When she slapped him for it, he hit her and she fell on the ground but managed to run away. Then the accused man was asked what he had to say. He admitted his guilt. So, there is a case which has been solved by this Gonds tribes. Now, let's see what is the case. Here there is a girl and one day she brought a case before this Panch, and there she told that there is a man who teased her, and then she slapped that man and he hid back to that girl and she fell down on the ground, but she managed to run away. And when the accused man was asked for his behavior, he admitted his guilt. The Panch asked the girl what she wished to be done to the accused, and the Panch asked the girl what treatment should be given to the accused person. She said that he should be given the most insulting punishment and that he should give in writing that he would not trouble her anymore in future. So the girl, she has asked that accused person should write by his hands on a letter that he will not tease that girl again in the future. And this is the punishment which the girl is giving to that accused man. The Panch then ordered him to stand in the middle of the Panch, bow down before the girl and beg for pardon. So then the Panch, he asked that accused person, or he ordered that accused person to bow down in front of that girl and to beg pardon with her. So this was the case where this Panch has done justice for the girl. Let's see village headman, that is Patla. Every village has a headman or Patla who is generally hereditary, an arrangement in which the son or daughter gets the mother's title or property automatically after their death is called hereditary. So there is a person who is the headman in every village, and that is called as Patla, and he got that headmanship from his hereditary. That means when his parents died, he will get that authority to become headman after his parents. He is answerable to the Panch, but in many cases he can be an effective leader. While the Panch only meet once in a while, this headman functions on a daily basis. So this headman function is to work on the daily basis, whereas this Panch will not be present regularly. He will be present at some cases, but this Patla he has to present on each and every situation, and on the daily basis he has to work. He must be answerable to Panch, but in many cases he can be an effective leader as well. Usually he is from the family of the person who had led the formation of the village in the beginning. The main function of the Patla is to ensure the unity of the villagers and negotiate with the outsiders and government agencies on behalf of the villagers. So usually he is from the family who has developed the particular village, we can say, or who led the formation of that village in the beginning. He also coordinates various community activities of the village, including festivals. He also has to entertain and feed guests of the village. In return for this, all men and women of the village work in his fields for one day. This assistance enabled him to till more land than his own family can, and thus to feed the guests of the village. And he also has different kinds of work, such as he will also coordinate community activities of the village, and which includes festival, and he also has to entertain and feed the guests of the village. Whoever will visit that village as a guest, this Patla he has to take care of his guest, and he has to entertain and feed that guest. In return for all this, and all men and women of the village, they work in the fields for one day. This assistance enabled him till more land than his own family can, and thus to feed the guest of the village. So these villagers, they will work together on the fields of this village, and they will feed the guest of the village. Whenever a headman becomes arrogant and goes against the wishes of the people, the Panch may remove him and replace him with another person. Alternatively, the other family may just leave the village and settle in a new place. So whenever if the Panch he is not happy with this Patla, he can remove him, or he can make another person as Patla, or he can replace him, we can say. And alternatively, other family, they just leave the village and settle to any other place. Hemendorf also pointed out that this system was gradually changing even in the 1940s and 50s, as the Gond villages were inhabited by other communities like Marathas and Telugu, and as the modern Panchayati Raj elections began to take place, many people started going police or courts to settle their disputes. The headman lost their position of importance with the election of Sarpanches through direct elections. So Hemendorf, it's a book in which this Gond tribe was written. So this book has also pointed out that this system was gradually changing even in 1940s to 1950s, as the Gond villages were inhabited by the other communities like Marathas and Telugus, as their modern Panchayati Raj elections began to take place, and many people, they started going to the police and courts to settle their disputes. Before, to settle their disputes, these people will go to the Sarpanch or to the Panchayat, but now these people, they started going to the courts, and the headman lost their position of importance with the election of Sarpanches through direct election. So with the development or with the invention of elections, we can say here the Sarpanch, they has lost their values or the position or the importance, as these Sarpanches are being elected by the people directly now. We read that the customs of the tribe, as understood by all the adult male members of the community, were very important in conducting the activities of the community. We also saw that every family had a say in the activities of the community, and together they were more powerful than the headman. This headman had to persuade and keep the members of the community happy to retain his position and could not go against their wishes. So in this chapter we have read about the different kinds of tribes and what are the characteristics they are having together, and how the Panch or Patla will be working for that particular village, and how the decisions are taken by these people together, and how the disputes are solved between these people together, and how this era has been changed to direct elections now, and what are the activities which are conducted by these tribes, and how they are celebrating their festivals, and who is the person who will take the decision about the festivals and other things, and how these people they will treat their guests and how do they feed their guests. And the Panch, he cannot go against the members, as they all have this community, they are having unity. The Panch cannot go against them. We also read that in return for his service to the tribe, he received some special privilege in the form of free labor on his land. So, we also have seen that this Panch, in return for his service, he will get the free labor from all the villagers. This gave him more wealth than the other members of the tribe. But he was expected to spend this for the welfare of the tribe. Such was the arrangement in many of the tribes. This gave him more wealth than the other members of the tribe, and he was expected to spend this for the welfare of the tribe. So, he should always work for the welfare of the tribe. So, this lesson was all about the tribes, how do they settle their disputes, and how these people will take the unanimous decision together, and how these people will celebrate different festivals and what are their customs. And the main point is, besides they are from different communities, they all are living together as a unity, and they are sharing all the resources equally. This was all about our lesson. Let's start a new lesson in next class. Thank you.